I'm MaryMak, and I have Mayor Rice with me. Thank you for sitting down with Empower Black.
Thank you, Mary, for the opportunity.
You're very welcome. How are you doing today?
Great day today.
It is good to have you here. It is a great day. It's beautiful outside.
Yes.
I think the weather should pick one though.
Right.
It's kind of cold and then hot and then.
The great thing about Spartanburg, you wait 15, 20 minutes, the weather will change on you.
So I'm new. I'm new to Spartanburg.
Okay.
I've almost been here a year.
Okay.
I moved last summer to be closer to my studio and just things that were just in the area.
I understand.
So it's really interesting. But I'm glad to have you here, Mayor Rice, with Empower Black, doing our very first interview.
Yes.
So we're gonna ask you a few questions and
Sure.
get all personal with you.
Okay.
So, how was your childhood?
Childhood, growing up here, I am a native of Spartanburg.
I was going to ask you. You're from Spartanburg?
I am from Spartanburg.
So have you lived here your whole life?
I've lived here my entire life.
You never wanted to move?
At one point I did. Growing up on the north side of town, I was born behind the college, I think it was, actually. But we grew up most of my childhood on the north side of town, 218 Weldon Street to be exact.
Oh, cool.
If you know anything about Spartanburg now, it's over there just a stone throw from Monarch Cafe.
I don't know if I know where that is.
But if people hear that.
Yeah, people that live here, absolutely. I'm sure they know where that is.
They understand where Monarch Cafe is. And like I said, I'm on 218 Weldon. Tragedy struck early. In my childhood, I lost my father when I was a second grader.
Oh, wow.
Around 7 years old. I have an older sister, a younger brother, but we were born and raised right there on 218 Weldon. Went to all the District 7's schools, from Fremont to Cleveland to Whitlock to Spartanburg High School.
Is it District 7 like the best district?
Oh, District 7 is the only district.
No, I'm saying, I think someone told me like, if you can get your kid into District 7, that's the best district.
I mean, and that's awesome. I mean,
yeah.
I truly appreciate what they've done for me, what District 7 has done for me and my family. I also work with School District 7, as well as my wife, Dr. Shay Rice, works for School District 7. So it plays a special part in our life.
What do you do at the school?
I'm a transition specialist. My caseload now is working with the kids that are transitioning back into regular school, and I say that because they may have gone to the alternative school, or they may be transferring in. So I work with them. That's a smaller caseload than some of the APs there, but always letting the kids know that they may have made a mistake and had to be sent, or some voluntarily go to recover some credit, but also just have them to be reminded that they are our students and they will come back and graduate from Spartanburg High School and be a part of the festivities that we have when our seniors graduate.
How long have you been doing that?
I've been in School District 7 for 28 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I've been in School District 7 in different capacities for about 28 years. So again, my career is education.
Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, my mom's owned a daycare. So for the past 3 or 4 years, she let it go. But before that, since I was 5, so I'm here with you on the education. It's cool. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
I'm a big kid fan, like little kids.
Yes.
When they get a little bigger, it's like, oh, you're grown like me. Like you have your own personality and everything. But everybody has their calling when it comes to kids. Some people can't deal with them at all. Some people like the little ones. Some people like the ones in between. So
and throughout my career, I guess I've kind of changed each year, not each year, but over the career, because I was with little kids at one point, then I was an attendance coordinator for the district, dealing with truant kids, taking them to court, taking parents to court.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it has evolved. I've coached basketball in the middle school, but coached football in the high school for several years as well. So Spartanburg has been good to the Rice family.
So it seems like education is like the cornerstone of what you wanted to do growing up. Am I correct?
Well, just like any other young person participating in sports, I wanted to be a professional football player. I can remember those days. I'm going to play football. But I had a friend of mine tell me years ago, Jerome, you always talked about playing college football. He said, I can remember it plain as day. You always talked about playing college football. So I was afforded the opportunity to play college football at Wake Forest University in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And, being a decent athlete coming through, being a pretty good athlete coming through, earned a scholarship to go to school there and, made the best of it. I was a communication major. So when I came home, the thoughts were to move on to one of the bigger cities, preferably Atlanta.
I think everybody is like, let's go to Atlanta.
I had a couple friends to move there, and that was my plan, but it got derailed when I started working in the school system here.
Okay, so where did politics come in for you?
Politics did not come in until years later. Again, Spartanburg being my home, I have always volunteered. I've always been a part of some group that was doing civic duties. I was a mentor. Early on coming to School District 7, I started working at Mary H. Wright Elementary School. And I can remember my sixth grade teacher, Dr. Judith Bazemore, was the principal at that particular time. And I told her I was just coming to sub because I was moving to Atlanta.
I'm moving to Atlanta.
It did me well, and that's what changed my perspective and changed my life, because that's what got me here. I can remember taking a little kid home. We would walk over to the neighborhood across the street, Tobias Hartwell, and I was knocking on the door telling Mom I was bringing our son home. He was misbehaving at school. He needed to come home, and we needed her to come back and have a conference with the teacher and the principal, and she would call me his probation officer.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm like, wow, I don't understand, because I've never heard of little kids having probation officers. And I only thought that was for adults that's gone to prison and coming back. So, but to hear that this little kid had a probation officer, come on now. And then just really started working in the school system and learning more about what was going on at that particular time in Spartanburg. And like I said, it's the early 90s. And it was a crack cocaine pandemic that really had affected our neighborhoods, and so we did have some parents that were not doing what they were supposed to do with the children. We had neglect. We saw neglect, but so there was a need for some people to come together just to try to help. Mentor some of these young boys and young girls and lead them in the right direction. And Dr. Judith Bazemore, like I said, I credit her for giving me that job, but helped me see that in my hometown, that it needed some help, and I was here to help in any way I could. The political piece probably came in the 2000s.
Okay, so about 10 years later?
Yeah. I'm considering running for city council.
Okay.
I can remember Kenneth Smith ran for the former city council member. Kenneth Smith ran for District 5 seat where we lived in that district, and he got out a little bit before I did, and so I said I was not going to run against Kenneth. Give me an opportunity. Reverend Lewis Mills had stepped down, but Kenneth stepped up before I did, and he went on and became council member, I think in 2004. And after, I think he only did one term, and after that, it was my turn to step up. But also in the meantime, I had an opportunity to, again, do some civic duty, learn a little bit more about nonprofit, learn a little bit more about leveraging resources. The Spartanburg County Foundation started the Grassroots Leadership Institute, which I enrolled in and graduated from. I was working with the Progressive Men Club at the time as well. I can remember Roy C. Henderson, Mr. Roy C. Henderson, he's passed on now, Dr. Arthur Bruton, Judge Don Beatty, James Cheek, Attorney James Cheek. All of these black men, late Dewey Tullis, were giving back to the community. And I had a seat at the table where I could hear these guys and hear these stories about where they were trying to push Spartanburg to, and how we can make a difference as black men in this community. So had an opportunity to sit with them. Dr. Arthur Bruton started the Dr. J.C. Bull Project Right Start, which was a mentorship program, worked with him on that for several years, a long time, up until I had my family. We actually, my wife and I family, we have 2 girls and 2 boys. The 2 girls are the oldest. And I can remember the oldest girl, Talee, being a part of Project Right Start. It was an all-male mentorship program.
Okay.
But Talee's on the bus with the boys because we were going,
Yeah.
So she just got caught up in that, and we kid with her to this day about those things. So my political career started right after Kenneth Smith decided not to run for his 2nd term, and my sons were saying, "Dad, why not you? Why not you?"
Yeah, why not you?
Yeah,
Absolutely, why
let's
not
make
you?
a difference in Spartanburg.
Do you find it hard juggling the two between education and being mayor?
Yes, I mean it's the mayor's job, as you know, is a part-time position with a full-time commitment.
Absolutely.
So I'm being pulled, left and right with different activities. Jeff Stevens, the superintendent, and I had a conversation even before I ran for city council about the do's and don'ts, what I can and can't do. But he has supported me from the start as a city council member and now as the mayor. He and I were in high school together, a matter of fact, and he thinks it's nothing better that the kids get to see the opportunity that the mayor is walking the halls at Spartanburg High School. And I get it daily. Hey,
Absolutely.
Mayor Rice. Hey, Mayor Rice.
Absolutely.
So
like being able to say, "Hey, the mayor worked at my school," is kind of like a, "Hey, I got one up on you."
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. I definitely see that. I see that being cool.
Right.
Even my
right.
daughter was like, "You're going to interview the mayor?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She was like, "The mayor of what?" And I was like, "The city, the real mayor of the city." And I'm like, "Yes." So, and for her to be, because I do celebrities
Right.
all the time. That's
Right.
what my brand is based off
Right.
of, and for her to be like, "Oh my gosh, it's the mayor."
Right.
So it was really cool for me.
And to be honest, I am blown away that I get that type of response.
Yeah.
"Oh, you're the mayor," and again, but I want to let every kid know, especially a little black boy that may be growing up on the north side of town, going to Cleveland Academy of Leadership over there with Dr. Clark, let them know that, hey, you could possibly be mayor one day. Mayor Rice did it, Jerome Rice.
What advice would you give to one of the young boys looking to be in your position, or to be just, a person of color in general, not just the little boys, someone that holds high authority?
Yeah. I mean, just be true to who you are. Be true to your upbringing. Be true to your family. Everybody, and I shouldn't say everybody, but I'm asked a lot as to, what do you do for the black community? Have you done this? I said, every day I wake up, I'm a black man.
Yes.
So what I do on a daily is for my community. I have black children, African American children that have my name. Jerome Rice III, Jay, who's in Charlotte, has my name. So what I do for him and Talee and Jamari and Javaris is for the black race, but I also do it for everyone.
Yes.
It's one thing I should tell kids and parents when I coach football. I coach at this time, of course, I coach your son the same way I coach my own son.
Right.
So you're going to get the best from me. I'm going to coach your son the same way I coach Javaris, which I did. I coached Jay, which I did. We got on Mara when she was a cheerleader, we coached her. We coached Talee when she was a cheerleader, we coached her, or a track runner. You know, so they get the same thing. And I say we because my wife is right there with me.
Absolutely, and that's how it should be.
Shay is right there with me. She supports me 100%. And I tell them all, she's the reason I got elected as mayor. Everyone knows Shay Rice. She was a track coach at Spartanburg High School. She won 6 state championships.
Oh, wow.
She's
Congratulations.
she's actually in the South Carolina Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's amazing.
As a track coach,
So for you, there's no, I mean, obviously there's a separation, but for you, just treating everybody equally is how you're trying to bring the communities together.
Yes. What you see is what you get, you know, the old cliche, but I treat everyone the same. I try to give them the same good morning and when I see them in the mornings to the same see you tomorrow to when we leave. You're going to get the same Jerome Rice no matter what. I don't get shaken much. I mean, there's no highs, no lows. I try to stay even keel on any situation, but you're going to get the best from me. You're going to get the best from me.
As it should. As you should. As you should. Have you experienced any challenges being an African American man in public, in politics, and in the school system?
Right. Well, and being the African American mayor here in Spartanburg, I'm not the first. Mayor James Talley, who I still have conversations with to this day, was the first African American mayor. So there are naturally some challenges there as African American mayor of Spartanburg, because I can remember times before we left the old city hall, they had pictures of each council. Every 2 years it could possibly be a different council because people are voted in, and it goes back to the 60s from the pictures that were on the wall. So when you look at the oldest picture there, it was all white males on council.
Oh, wow.
Then it became mostly white males with a woman, white woman. Then it became white males, black males, white woman, and then, you know, it was totally integrated. So it's just all about time, in due time. So you have different challenges because of the world we live in. You know, the 60s were a lot different than the 70s. The 70s were a lot different than the 80s.
Yeah, and it just keeps,
the
it
90s,
follows.
the 2000s, and now, you know, we're in the 2020s.
And it's still very different.
It's still different.
Yes,
it's still different. So, I mean, none of us would imagine back in the 70s or 80s. I just gave this speech at church Sunday about cell phones and how important our cell phones are to us.
Yeah,
you know,
they're too important.
Too important. I mean, it holds so much information. It's more information in our cell phones than it was in the rocket that went to the moon, the first rocket that went to the moon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, that just blows you away.
Even I'm not that old, but I still remember like phone books and the yellow pages. Like if I wanted to find something, I couldn't look it up on the internet. I had to look in the phone book. I remember traveling with my mom, and she used a road map.
You used a road map.
She's from Detroit, so she knows how to get to Detroit front and back with our road map. Now sometimes they would be doing construction, and she'd be like, "All right, pull out that map. Let me see," and she could read it and get us, and she would get us from point A to point B.
But now look how times have changed, and now if you're riding with mom, you pull out your GPS on the phone and, "Mom, we just need to go here," or you don't have to say anything because the phone's going to tell you where to go.
Oh my gosh, I am so crippled by my GPS. That's why I knew it was like, oh, it's right over here. Don't ask me. All my friends know that I am terrible, absolutely terrible with directions. You're not going to ask Mary. Mary is not the person you're asking.
Don't ask Mary how to get to the store. Huh?
Do not ask me, because I'm going to be like, you know what? Here, let me put it in the GPS ready. So the next question I have to ask you is, what have you implemented so far to help for you, since you do everybody together, your community and your people?
Right. Mary, I think one of the more powerful resolutions that were passed, not as the mayor for me, but when I was sat on city council, it was the resolution on reconciliation and healing for Spartanburg. You know, bringing a more unified Spartanburg together, where the council came together and wanted to dispel the time when people like us didn't sit on the council, and we made rulings that would affect everybody. You know, no matter who's on council, the ruling or the resolution or the ordinance that go before, it affects the entire Spartanburg.
Absolutely.
Even when there were people that sat on the council that didn't look like you and I.
Correct.
Even when there were only males on the council, no females.
Correct.
You know, so things of that sort. So we wanted to correct that as a council. And that was a powerful statement in September of 2020.
Okay.
Where we have 13 points that we wanted to make sure as we move forward, it was a more equitable Spartanburg. It was important for the council back in 2020 to make that statement that Spartanburg is for everybody. It's all inclusive. Everyone is welcome. We're going to treat everyone the same. And we wanted to make it a more equitable Spartanburg. So that was very important to me, as well as during the time with the George Floyd and our nation was in an uproar.
Yeah, absolutely.
We came together. There was a couple marches, I know, in Spartanburg, but we came together and we did say that Black Lives Matter. I can remember wearing I Can't Breathe t-shirt, Black Lives Matter t-shirt. And again, every day I wake up, I look in the mirror, I'm a black man.
That's something you can't change. I mean, black people can't change being black. Right. Hispanics can't change being Hispanic. Right. You know, white people can't change being white. That's just the way God made you.
That's it. So, and we thought it was important that we made that. I thought it was important that we made a stand, and even the painting of Black Lives Matter out on Broad Street, right in front of City Hall. That was important. I talked a little bit about my kids. I had a son that was in college during that time of George Floyd. He came home, he marched. I had a son that was in high school.
He marched as well.
He came home and he marched. So you know what? Their dad went out. Yeah. And I told the group, I said, guys, you have a policy maker in front of you. You know, what can we do? What can I do? You know, where do we want this to go? So, you know, to have those open conversations and people can trust that Mayor Rice, Coach Rice, Mr. Rice from the school is really there to help us. In
the community and in the school, did you find that you being there out on the front street helped the community as a whole?
I think it did, because you had some key players that could really call. Right. And furthermore, again, I mentioned my wife earlier. She was right there receiving phone calls. She has been an assistant principal at Dorman, and now she's an assistant principal at Spartanburg High School. So all of those young people that went through, you know, knew Miss Rice. And so it was important that we were there to help navigate some of this.
Made it more personable.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
So how did Walk with the Mayor integrate with all of that?
When I have I love, let me say, I used to. I used to run. I used to get up and run. I can remember, I was a football player in college, you know, so I've always been a big guy. But a few teammates of mine, we would always get together for the 4th of July and run the Peachtree Road Race. Okay. Every 4th of July morning, and it's a 10K that you run through the streets of Atlanta, Georgia, and on the 4th of July. You know, so it was something that we always done. But my wife and I, after those days kind of seasons, my wife and I would always get up and just walk around town. We would get up, get a little exercise, and walk around town. And it's just it amazes me how many times somebody stops, speak, want to talk, or whatnot. So even on the rail trail, one of the most widely used amenities that we have in the city, the rail trail right there behind the YMCA.
I know the rail trail.
Yeah,
I know that one. I know that one.
It's more people on that trail than any other amenity that we have, any other recreation center, anything else in the city of Spartanburg. So when I became mayor, I wanted to have a health initiative, education,
Absolutely.
and public safety. Public safety goes without saying. I work closely with Chief Thompson and his team on making sure they have everything that they need. As much as we can as a council, we vote to pass what may come across the desk, as well as education. I'm in education, so I'm working with Dr. Booker on some of the initiatives that have been stated. And what he's trying to do with SAM, Spartanburg Academic Movement. We're working closely with him. I already work in the school system with Jeff Stevens, the superintendent, and the team there. So a healthy initiative, and I said, what better way to get healthy than to get some miles in?
Get your steps in.
Yeah,
steps are very important.
Exercise. If you exercise, that is a key to a healthy lifestyle.
Yep.
So I came up with really just Miles with the Mayor once a month. You get an opportunity not only to talk to the mayor, but other city officials come out, other council members, they have supported it as well when we walk. So as a citizen here, you get to see your elected officials, the people that work for you daily, the staff, and anyone else around the city of Spartanburg can come out on a Saturday morning and have conversation about what's going on here in Spartanburg. You know, when we had the baseball announcement, you know, so that's all we talked about probably for four walks, you know, so 4 months, 4 walks we talked about baseball, and we still talking about it. We're going to talk about it until they get here. Yeah. And but we talk about the move from the old city council building to the new. We talked about the new county council building, and it's we talk about health. We start in different areas around town, different neighborhoods. We walked at Spartanburg area mental health. We talked about mental health. We walked at Spartanburg High School when Dr. Vance Jones was there. Talked about the high school and what they have going on. We walked downtown. We walked on the north side. We walked on the south side.
You just walking.
Every month we have walked somewhere. And Mary, why I know this really works, we have not had a rain out.
Oh wow!
We have
just God on your side.
God is on our side.
God is on your side.
He wants to see this succeed. We had a little rain on the south side when they opened the Piggly Wiggly, and we were walking from there. But it was just a little shower.
That's good.
That was it. And so each year, we every third Saturday we walk somewhere in Spartanburg.
So you touched on moving offices. How do you feel about the office move? Oh,
the office move is great, but what's to come is more exciting. What's to come is more exciting. As you can see that the county has finished the county courthouse.
Okay.
That is all moved in, and they're operating out of the county courthouse, and that was done with the penny sales tax. The penny sales tax. And so they have no debt on that building.
Oh, well, that's amazing.
So we have a new police station over off of Forest Street. No debt on that police station because of the penny sales tax. So now this phase, as to where we are now, will be the new city-county joint complex that we will build next, that will face Church Street directly across from the downtown library. Again, once it's all said and done and it's done, no debt on that building.
And that's amazing.
And that goes to the citizens of Spartanburg County. Yes. And their willingness and their trust in their elected officials and what we're trying to do. But one key thing that we want to always stress is that penny sales tax also hits every visitor that came to Spartanburg, or that comes to Spartanburg. So I think it's 30% of the money that's collected will come from visitors, people that are coming in to the baseball games, people that are visiting downtown, you know, so when people came in with the Panthers, so it hits everyone. It's not just coming out of one pot, it's over the entire
But that
county.
goes to show that our elected figures can come together
Yes.
and do something
Yes.
that's positive and
Yes.
collective
Yes,
for the city.
yes,
So
yes.
what is something that is most memorable for you that you've achieved, or something that was just funny, or
I guess, and as we sit, I look at the picture there, Rice prepares to become mayor.
oh well,
That's what's most memorable.
oh well, is that your wife?
That's my wife
Oh,
with
look
me.
at you guys.
And we're making the announcement. It was official there. We got the final count, and that's what's memorable.
It's the smiles for me.
And that's what you see, really.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to serve my hometown. I'm so happy to serve my home.
And we can feel it. We can
Yes.
feel that,
Yes.
and that's
Yes.
good. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what can we expect from you in the future?
You can expect to see more and more of Mayor Rice out shaking hands, the biggest cheerleader, the biggest ambassador for the things that are going on in Spartanburg. Spartanburg is the future of the state of South Carolina. I
Okay.
want you to understand
It's
that.
growing. It's growing fast.
It's the future of the state comes through Spartanburg. The
Okay.
future of the state comes through Spartanburg.
It's growing.
Bold statement by the mayor of Spartanburg.
Bold statement. Well, I want to thank you for sitting with me on behalf of Empower Black. And is there any last words, anything else you want to tell to the people?
No, I really appreciate you, Mary, having the opportunity to sit and talk with you a little bit about
Absolutely,
what's
thank
going
you.
on here in Spartanburg and how we've gotten to where we are, and to tell you a little bit about myself.
Absolutely. I've learned a whole lot. It was very interesting and entertaining.
Yes.
So I'm
yes.
sure everyone will be just as entertained as me.
Great,
So,
great.
but it was nice talking with you, and thank you again.
Thank you for the opportunity.